boys and girls. Will here with just some time prepping. How you folks doing today? I was just listening to a little music before I started the video. Hey, I want to talk today about some of the medical supply things again. I want to make sure everybody's still on the same page with those, to make sure that you're creating a trauma bag for yourselves. Because when there's a national disaster and the grid goes down or whatever, shit hits the fan, we're going to have to make sure that you have a trauma bag. Now, we all know that if a grid down situation happens, then we're going to have to have all that stuff already on hand, because if we don't, then we're going to be SOL, because everybody will be rushing to Walmart or whatever store you have in your area and trying to gather up all the stuff that you need, and it's gonna be just a hassle to do that. So if you do it before anything happens, then you can let those guys go do their thing, and you know that you're already taken care of. So I want to make sure that you're just thinking about everything, because trauma bags are going to be a big thing, just in case somebody gets hurt or whatever. I'm just going to be honest, you never know when something happens. It could be a national disaster like a hurricane or a tornado, earthquake, whatever, There's a possibility that you or maybe one of your family members or a close friend or something will possibly get injured, and you want to make sure that be able to take care of them. So a trauma bag is a big thing, and you want to make sure that you have stuff in there like bandages and tourniquets and antibiotics and stuff like that, so that you can take care of whatever situation comes up. Now, I myself have several things in my trauma bag, because I, for one, have health issues, as you can usually see from my hands and stuff. That's from some of the medications I take. So I have to make sure that I'm going to be taken care of if something really happens. What I try to do is the medications that I take myself, I try and stockpile some of those up, because I'm on disability. That I'm only allowed to have so much medication at one time, so that Medicare takes care of it. But there are times when I get ahead. So as I get ahead, what I do is I take the extras and I put them in a separate bottle that's already pre-marked for that, because it's supposed to be an empty bottle. But I take the empty bottles with the right prescription name on them, and I put all extras in there. And that way, when something really serious happens and I can't get medicine from the pharmacy or whatever, I myself will be covered. So that's something that you might want to think about for yourselves. Let me fix the camera here. It looks like I've got it all cattywampus here, so let me see what I can do here to try to make things better so you can see me better. There we go. That's a little bit better. So today I just want to recover some of the stuff that we've already covered before, and that way it kind of helps me kind of keep it in my head what I have to do, and it kind of reminds you also what you should be thinking about also. So most of us know that we need to have a trauma bag, and the trauma bag is going to have things like bandages, different sizes, whatnot, gauze, and that comes in different widths and whatnot, so you want to have several different things. They also have that new tape out, that stretches and it conforms to whatever you put it into, and then when you get done it sticks to itself, so that way you can stick it to yourself, then take a piece of that waterproof tape off and cover it up, and then it's there, so these are things that we want to talk about and think about as we get ready for the national disaster. It could be anything, so you guys know and I know what happens in your area and what you need to be preparing for. So trauma bags are very important. I picked one up. I tried to make one, and it's just really hard to go to a dollar store. If you're like me, I go to a dollar store, a Dollar General. I don't know what they're called in your area, but and then you try to go down the shelf of the medical supplies, and you try to pick the stuff up that you think that you're going to need in your bag. And you get home, you start putting everything together, and guess what? You go, man, I forgot something. So I've still got that stuff, and I've still got it in a little plastic bin, and the top of it's marked medical supplies. But besides that, I just went ahead and went out and I bought a trauma bag, and that makes sure that I have everything in there that's going to be covered through a trauma. And I'm going to make a video on my trauma bag, but that's not going to be today. We'll take everything out of it, and you'll be able to sit there and you'll be able to see everything that comes in it. I paid something like, I believe mine cost me like $59 plus tax. It was a little over $60 for it. But you know what? It comes with everything that you're going to need, and I like that part. So, trauma bag. Make sure you get a trauma bag. Also, antibiotics. If you have extra antibiotics from going to the doctor and getting them or whatever, just go ahead and kind of put them off to the side. Sure, they try to explain to you about the expiration of them and whatnot, but if something serious happens in your community, you're not going to really care if it's expired or not. You're going to want to take the medication and hope that it works. Or anyway, I do. So try to think about that. Another thing is doctors usually don't let you have extra antibiotics. And that's why I'm telling you just to stock up on what you have. Say, if you're like me, I take the antibiotics and the steroids until I feel better, until I feel safe about not taking them anymore, and I'll take the extra ones and I'll put them off to the side. And then if I don't have the right containers for them, I will take a piece of tape and I'll put over the front of the pill bottle, and I'll write on there what it is and how many milligrams and everything it is. So that really helps a lot. Also, I want to talk about is there's a lot of natural antibiotics out there, and it's all over the internet, and I did a piece on it, and I was trying to look for my notes because I'm kind of glancing down and reading off my notes a little bit to talk to you guys today, because it's hard to remember all this stuff. You know what you basically have to do, but when you go to try to explain it to somebody, sometimes it just gets all jumbled up, so I want to make sure I'm telling you the right thing. And so there's generic options out there, and they come from other countries. And also, I don't know if you guys know this or not, and I've said it before, is veterinary supply stores have antibiotics and things like that that are similar, if not exactly like the ones that we take as human beings. I guess that's the only word I know to say. But they call it something else because it's for animals. And if you've done your research on this and you know anything about it, you'll know that when they test all these antibiotics and life-saving medicines, they usually test them on animals first, right? So what they do is they call it something and they give it to the veterinary store, and they call it one thing, and then they turn around and they give it another name, and they sell it to the medical doctors at hospitals, clinics, and whatnot. And then it's basically the same thing. Like my dog, he got hit by a car and he injured his hip, and they gave him antibiotics for it. Well, come to find out, I got to looking at the medication and started researching it on the internet, and it's basically the same antibiotics as what we take as human beings. And then there was another thing, they gave him, I can't remember the name of it, but it was a pain reliever to make him feel less pain, as it was mending. Well, it turned out that medication was just a very, very low dose of a pain medication that we take. It's not an opiate or anything, more like acetaminophen or something like that. But it, just a very, very low dose, like a zero point 0.5 milligrams or something like that. So, if we really think about it, the veterinary supplies, we don't have to have prescriptions for a lot of those. So you can just go down there to a vet and you can start looking at the stuff that they put on their shelves, and a lot of it will work for first aid in case we have a grid down situation or shit hits the fan, like an earthquake or tornado, or something goes wrong. So that's something that you're going to want to think about. I'm trying to think of it. It's fish mocks. You can get that right at Walmart or one of your big chains like that, Walgreens. Maybe Walgreens. I don't think the Walgreens here has stuff for aquariums and stuff. But if you go to like Walmart, Big K, I don't know, you have it in your area, Fred Meyer's, something like that, they have sections for fish tanks and stuff. And if you get to looking at the stuff they have, you can get this stuff called fish mocks. And you put it in your tank, it's an antibacterial, and it kills the bacteria in the tank. Well, guess what? That's like amoxicillin for a human. So you wouldn't really need a prescription for that. You would just be able to take it. You would have to probably up the dose, whatever it says on the container, but I'd be careful. I would start out with a low dose and build my way up until it started actually doing what it's supposed to do for the human body. So there's several things that you have to think about. The antibiotics are made by the same company. The animal antibiotics are made by the same companies that make it for the humans. So all they do is change the name of it so that humans don't know that, hey, I can go to the veterinary and get that amoxicillin a whole lot cheaper than what my doctor's going to charge me at the pharmacy. So those are things that you really need to start thinking about. If you don't believe me, you can go online and check it out for yourself. It's there, but I'm just trying to save you and me some time and trying to help you guys figure out ways of getting around buying drugs from your doctor, because the doctors will not just give you a prescription for an antibiotic. Even if you told him you just wanted to have it around in case something happened in the community. They just have rules and laws and they just won't give them to you. So that would be something that you would want to think about. Give me a second here. You can always find, either go to the library or a bookstore or anything, and you can get a book for pill identifiers. You can get one for animals, and you can also get one for human beings. So it's also online, but you could also go out and get you a book, a pill identifier. I have an app on my phone, and it's a pill identifier, and it actually cross-references animal drugs from human drugs, because, like I said, some of them are just useful that way. So if you want, you could just go ahead and think about something like that. It's a very helpful tool to always have as much information as possible. I'm like a magnet. I really like to know as much as I can. So that's what I do, is I try to find out what I can. I try to pass it along to you guys. Also, Ceflexin. Ceflexin is for fish. And what it is, it's actually just like amoxicillin. So if you go to your pet store and you look and you see something that's got Ceflexin, it's Ceflexin, and it's an alternate drug, and it's also called FishFlex, it looks like, and also FishFlex Forte, I think Forte is how you pronounce it, Forte. So those are all things for fish that would work on human beings. There's another one, doxycycline, and that's actually comes in a 100 milligram pill, and that's actually a bird biotic. So that works for humans also. And I mean, there's just all kinds of them out there. I'm trying to just skim over some of these notes that we've already gone through before, just kind of just like an update thing for you. So I'm just letting you guys know that you really need to keep thinking all the time about what the heck you're going to need. And I'm telling you, that trauma bag is sold online. You could probably get them online cheaper than what I paid for mine. I was looking at them online, and I figured that by the time I paid the shipping and handling and everything, I would be paying more than what I could get it for at Wally World. So I just went ahead and went down to Walmart, and I bought one for 59 something. Came out with 60 something with tax, and I could have got it online for I believe it was 40 something. By the time the shipping and handling was on there, it was almost 70 bucks. So I just went ahead and I outweighed my options, and I went down and picked it up. So these are all things that you need to think about, and I really hope that I can convince you guys that don't have to listen to me. I mean, I would rather that I give you the idea and then you go and you look it up for yourself. And you can look it up and then you can tell your friends, you know, I would never have thought about this, but I was watching this video on YouTube by this guy, Will, and he was telling me about these antibiotics I could get without a prescription. So I went and looked it up, and sure as hell he was right. So look it up for yourself. Excuse me. Look it up for yourself and make sure that you feel comfortable with what you're doing. Because there's all kinds of antibiotics and anti-inflammatories and stuff like that out there that they make for birds and fish and dogs and cats that actually work for us, but they just have different names. I'm really a big believer in going and getting a book, a pill identifier, and looking it up and then cross-referencing it with a veterinary supply PDX, I guess is what they call them, a pharmacy book for pills and stuff. So, you know, I'm really into that kind of stuff. Me with my health issues, I believe in making sure that I'm going to have something on hand. For you, those of you that don't know any history about me, I have COPD, and so I have several issues, and at night when I'm sleeping, I use this machine that creates oxygen out of the air, and then it pipes it into me while I'm sleeping. It's called an oxygenator, and I'd never heard of one of them before I had to have it, but you know, I will have it if something happens, but if I don't have a power source for it, I am not going to be able to get what I want. And also, there's a couple of other drugs that I take that are off the charts if you go and buy them from a pharmacy or whatever. One of them is $400 and one of them is $300. So I've been searching high and low trying to figure out other things that I might be able to take in their place in the event of shit hitting the fan. So all these things, you guys have issues, I have issues, everybody has issues. I am positive of that, but whatever your issues are, try to find out as much as you can, not just from your doctor and the referrals that he gives you, but go out and look for yourself and make sure that you're finding something that might be an alternate for you for when shit hits the fan, because it's just the way it is. I feel safer that way. I'm probably going to be one of the first ones to perish, but I'm wanting to live long enough to make sure that the group I'm in and my family members will be able to push forward with their lives. I am comfortable with parachuting. I've already dealt with that thought process, so I'm already comfortable with that. But I want to make sure that I survive long enough to make sure that the group and my family will be able to push forward and create a new life for themselves. Okay, I had some other stuff I was going to cover with you guys here, but I've decided that that's probably good enough. I got to rambling and I kind of got off track a couple of times, and I just going to leave it there because we're like 20 minutes into this video and I just don't want to make it so boring that you guys don't want to listen to it. I do want you guys to listen to it long enough to take my advice and do some research for yourself for whatever issues you or your family have and try to address those in an intelligent, practical kind of situation so that when something happens in your community or in the nation or whatever, you have done your homework and you can provide for whoever needs that. And that's what it's really all about. So for today, that's really all I have. I'm going to just stop right there. I want to tell you guys that later today or tomorrow for sure, I am going to be getting a delivery at the front door, and we're going to make a fire just out of a couple of ingredients that you can buy probably in your community, if not online, and just keep on hand because when something seriously happens, you may not have the opportunity to have a big lighter or even matches. I'm not really sure about those, but you can make matches too, and I'm looking into that. I'm looking into a couple of things so that we can have some more videos going. But anyway, today or tomorrow we're going to make that fire I've been talking about for a week or so now. I'm really getting pumped up about it, but who knows, So I want you guys to understand I appreciate you guys coming to YouTube and looking at my stuff because I've been YouTube's really making some changes now, and it's just kind of here and there, and it's kind of going off the wall. I'm not sure what I'm thinking about moving to Patreon. I have a Patreon site, and I post some of my videos from YouTube here to there, but you have to be a paid subscriber to my channel over there in order to see any of the videos. I would really like for you guys to sponsor me. I mean, like I told you, I'm on disability and I make just a small amount of money every month, and by the time I pay all my bills, I take the little bit of money I have left over, which is not all the time, and I try to find things to make the videos out of so you guys can learn something. But if I was to be sponsored by you guys, even $1 a day or $1 a week, whatever, it all adds up into me going out and getting whatever I need to show you guys something, and that's what I spend that money on. I don't smoke cigarettes, and I don't tip up the bottle too much. I don't think I can remember the last time I've had a drink, but anyway, I use the money I generate to go out and find stuff to make our life easier for when shit hits the fan. So don't forget to leave your comments down below. Good ones, bad ones, I don't care. Thumbs up. Hey, a big thing for me, give all the prepping sites that you go and visit, give them all the thumbs up because they deserve it. It's hard for us to come up with things to show you guys, and I don't do any product reviews because then you've got to go back, and after a couple of months you've got to remember to go back and say, hey, that review I did on let's just say knives. Well, I got that knife, I used it for a couple of months and I gave it a thumbs up, but you know what? Now I'm going to give it a thumbs down. So, those are just things about the reviews, Sure, you're getting stuff from these companies and they're wanting you to show it off and everything, but you give it a thumbs up most of the time, and down the road, 2, 3 months, maybe a year, that product is not even what you told everybody it was. It wasn't as good as you thought it was, or something. I'm not saying that they're bad or all bad. I'm just saying some. So donate. Another thing I got for you is please share it with your friends, because without you guys and you guys sharing it, I don't get any subscribers. Oh, that's another thing. Hit the subscription button. Join the channel and hit that bell, and it will tell you when I make a video. I started out making a video every day, but as time is going on, I'm not losing interest. I'm trying to use logic to make videos that will help us. I don't want to make a video just to make a video anymore. I want to make a video that's going to be a positive video. I don't want to go on there and say, hey, Billy down the block did this and blah, 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 because that's not me. So that's really all I have for today. I went longer than I wanted to, about 6 minutes longer. So make a comment, hit the thumbs up, donate to my cause, please, and all that information will be down in the comment section. So God bless you guys, and God bless the United States of America, because we need it right now. We're in some tough times. So catch you later.